Katie here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I am up with another layout for Confessions of a Paper Addict. I have a bit of a different layout today, a bit different for me, and also a bit of it's not a unique use of a cut file, but it's not something that I have done before or do very often. And I decided to use this beautiful leaf background as a stencil. So I know you're probably seeing it going, oh, why didn't you use it as a complete cut file? And I will, not this particular actual cut file because it's ruined by using it as a stencil. But I loved this and I will definitely use it again. I just couldn't make that particular green paper that I cut this out on work. So I decided to use it as a stencil. Now, I pulled out some pretty full-on pink-related bits and pieces from my stash. I have got the, I don't know what the actual colour is, but it's like the pink or rose gold iridescent paste from Vicky Bouton. I have just the iridescent paste from Vicky Bouton, and then I've got this pink paint from Dilutions, I think. And I'm just going with the three of those, and I'm using it as a stencil. I've just got a sponge. I am mixing them all together. I am trying to do it on the bit of plastic you can see down on the right hand side there. But I am kind of mixing the colours together. I'm letting them blend and just kind of merge into one. I don't do a great blending job, and that is because you'll see in a minute when I pull up the stencil. I come back and fill in the rest of the page. So I do end up covering this whole page in mixed media, but unfortunately it didn't blend very well because by the time I decided I wanted to do that, some of it had already started to dry, which makes it difficult to blend. So I would definitely do this technique again because I really liked it. You can see me here. I was just really conscious I did not want to leave the cut file on there for very long because I've done that before with a cut file and it's already doing it a little bit now, is it sticks and it then is difficult to pull up. So there is a little bit of green on my background, but I do use my little pokey tool and I end up being able to lift most of that. I'm actually looking for my rubber craft mat because I did think I really want to fill this in. So I do come back and, as I said, fill in all of the outside. I should have done it like now before pulling up some of this stuff, but it's like a catch-22. I wanted to pull up the little bit of cardstock, the green cardstock that had stuck to my layout, knowing that I didn't want the mixed media to dry anymore. And then I decided I wanted to fill the rest in because I thought it looked a bit too weird. And it ends up being a pretty full-on layout, I'll be honest. Quite full-on. Very different for me. I feel like I'm channeling my inner Jodie or Laurie, who does amazing mixed media stuff and, really embracing it. So you can see me here. I've decided I want to kind of add the rest of the mixed media to fill in the rest of my page. And I mainly use the paint, which was a bit of a mistake because it hasn't blended quite so well with the areas that were more of the iridescent shimmer paste. Oh, is that what it's called? The shimmer, iridescent shimmer paste, I think, from Vicky Bouton. It's beautiful stuff. I really like it. My iridescent one is starting to definitely go a little hard. My rose gold one is fine. So it is something that you want to use rather than just hoard it in your stash. So I've definitely been using it quite a lot. And it really is beautifully iridescent. I highly recommend. So I am, as you can see, just filling in the rest of that, and I've got my silicone craft mat behind me, so that's why I'm sort of going over the edges because I will take it away and wash it. I didn't want to get it on my Kaiser craft mat that I use just to craft on. While it's fine, I could have, I can use it with paint. It's totally fine. I just thought I have this silicone craft mat. I really should use it. So you can see me there. I have finished. It's a bit all over the place. It probably looks like a hot mess to some of you. It looks like a hot mess to me too. But you can still definitely see most of this layout, most of this background paper, when I create my layout on top. But I am really happy with how it all came together in the end. It's very different for me. It's not something that I would do. It's very bright. It's very pink, particularly since I've used photos of my son and my partner. But You know me by now. If you watch these videos, you know I don't care about using pink on layouts with my child, my son, and my partner, because I just don't think it's a big deal. So I was clearly not paying a lot of attention when I edited this video. And I took my mat away, and then I stopped my video and I left this dry naturally. So I didn't really want to use my heat gun on it because I knew that it would curl already, even without the heat gun. I just use American Crafts textured cardstock. I didn't use gesso on it or anything like that. So I knew that it would warp with the amount of mixed media I added to it, and it did. It's not bad though, and part of the reason why is because I let it dry naturally. If you take heat to it, it will warp your paper even more. So if you have the time, I highly recommend letting your mixed media dry naturally. We don't always have the time. I don't always have the time, but for this particular layout, I did. So you can see I'm just layering up my photos. Now I am using the More Than Words collection from Cocoa Vanilla Studio, and I can't remember when in the month this video is going up, and you might have already seen a couple of my other videos with this collection, but I was working on this collection in sort of the end of September, the start of October, and it was kind of the next one on my list to completely use up, and I have done that. So I'm very excited. That is another collection on all used up and scrapbooked, and the More Than Words collection from Cocoa Vanilla was, I think, my favourite Cocoa Vanilla collection. I said this in my last video where I used this collection. I think Daydream might become my new favourite, but I can't say that yet because I haven't actually made a layout with it. But I'm thinking the colours are very me in the Daydream collection, so I'm thinking that is going to kind of take over as my favourite, but we could be wrong. But More Than Words was definitely a favourite for me. So I've got this series of 3 photos of my son and my partner out in our yard with the chooks. My partner brought over a chook, and Lincoln is patting that chook. I was about to say him, but the chook is definitely a her. We don't have any roosters, we only have hens. Now, I had this thread on my desk from a Mixed Media Frenzy layout that I did at the start of October, so I just decided to use it. It is a bit darker than the rest of the layout, but I think it needed that just to kind of balance out a bit from all of the pink. So it's kind of a magenta maroon color, this thread, and I just used whatever I had left on my desk, and I've added that into 3 places because I do end up creating 3 clusters. I was thinking about just creating a cluster of flowers kind of for my photos to sit on top of, which I do, but I end up adding 2 more clusters as well. And I'll be honest, part of that reason was because I was trying to use up this collection, I wanted to pretty much put all the florals I had left onto this page. And so I did. So I've got lots of vellum florals as well as ephemera florals, but they're all in the same collection. So yeah, I'm just laying those all down, placing them again in the bottom left, and then across the bottom of my photos, and then just sort of above on the top of my photos slightly I've got my lefts and rights mixed up. So I'm creating a cluster in the bottom right, Katie, not the bottom left, the bottom right. And yeah, the florals underneath my photo, and then above my photos just slightly to the left, I've created a 3rd cluster. So I'm adding florals, and then I'll come back in and add a lot of butterflies. And that's it for my ephemera. So I use the thread, I use the florals, and I come back in with butterflies, and yeah, that's it. So you can see me sticking them down. I do use double-sided tape to stick down the vellum. Now, you can see the double-sided tape through the vellum, but because I've got so much layers and things going on, it's not obvious. So if they were just vellum pieces on their own, I probably would have used a wet glue and kind of sponged it on across the whole vellum piece, because then you won't see it because the whole thing's covered in glue. But I didn't want to do that. I like the fact that some of the vellum still kind of has that movement because it's not all stuck down. And then just a tiny bit of double-sided tape on the back, and you can kind of hide that. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. You can see me just tucking bits in, sticking everything down. This is the part that I usually cut out, but you can see that I've sped up my video quite a lot. I've sped it up 4 times, I think. So this layout did take me a while, mainly because that mixed media took a decent amount of time. And yeah, I don't know what else to tell you because I'm really just sticking things down. Again, I would often normally edit this part out, but I know a lot of people have told me that they like to kind of see the whole process from start to finish. So I've started doing that and leaving it in. It does mean I'm speeding up my videos slightly more though. And so if this is a bit too fast for you, let me know and I will go back to the other way of doing it. Every now and again, I don't mind making a longer video, but I just know that most people don't like to sit through, a 20-minute scrapbooking video. So I do try to keep them as short as I can while still, not to compromise the integrity of the video. So let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear if you're happy with them this speed or if you'd like me to slow them back down and then maybe edit some of the sticking down stuff out. Let me know. So I've decided on a title which was Bok Bok It's a Chook. Now I know that's a weird title, but my son is obsessed with animal noises and, and chickens. He loves the chickens. And so he will often come out and I'll say, where are the chooks? And then he starts going, bok, 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 and running over to the chooks. It's very cute. So that's kind of where that title has come from. And now I'm adding in some butterflies. You can see me just scattering them everywhere. And mainly, again, it's because I have a lot of them. I fussy cut all of these butterflies from one of the 12 by 12 pattern papers in the More Than Words collection. And I just am adding them everywhere. So I'm sort of doing them, I guess, in clusters of 3 in the bottom right cluster and the cluster above my photos. But then the others I'm just scattering. Yeah, and then I'm coming in with my favourite Nouveau drops of the moment. Still haven't gone upstairs to check. This voiceover is part of 5 of them that I did in a row, and you will have probably heard my earlier voiceovers. I haven't gone upstairs yet to check what that Nouveau drop is, but I will do it. So I'm just trimming off a few things that have overhung, just some of the vellum pieces, and then I'm all finished. I think I come in with some splatters. So again, not my navy Heidi Swap Colour Shine, one of my favourites, or my favourite, I think I would go so far as to say. And I'm not adding a lot of splatters. I know sometimes I add a hell of a lot of splatters. This time I'm trying to be a bit more subtle. Just adding a few little splatters just for a little bit of that kind of navy. You can see that the photos, well, I've covered them up, but the photos are very blue. Both my son and my partner are wearing blue, which I think contrasts really well with the pink, but I just wanted to add just that slight hint of navy splatters in the background too to kind of tie it all in together. Here's my close-ups. I hope you like this layout. Everything will be linked in the description box down below, so definitely go and check everything out. Come and visit us in the Facebook group, and remember to check out Confessions of a Paper Addict if you need any cut files in your life. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!